Hey, thank you for joining me again. Welcome back to Garage 86. I've been putting it off for a while, you probably know, but I'm going to attempt to upgrade the sound system in the 14R. And I've got quite a few bits to add into it, got quite a few jobs to do along the way. But hopefully this will help some people who want to do a similar sort of thing. Obviously I've already done the head unit, so this is more based on like speakers, amp, sub, and also possibly some sound deadening as well. I've got a theory this might go over 2 episodes, because I think it could be a long one, and I don't want to overfill it and make it too long to make someone want to watch. So stick with me. I'll try and see if I can find a logical point to break. But anyway, thank you for coming back. Thank you for watching again. Hope you're still enjoying what you're seeing. Getting a lot closer to the March 1st registration date now. So yeah, hopefully not too much longer. Well, we know how much longer. But let's get started. So obviously when you're doing an audio, you kind of have to do a before and after. So I'll try my best on this. It's obviously quite difficult because obviously my speakers, my camera might not pick up the subtle differences, but this gives you an idea anyway. Here's before. It isn't awful, but it can be improved. And let me show you what I've got to improve it. These are going to be the main starting point. As you can see, we've got the 2 tweeters for the top of the dash that go in here. And then this big boy here is the one that goes into the door panel on the car. And then this little box here, is this crossover, sends it out to all the different places. So you've got tweeter, mid, bass. So bass, mid, tweeter. So that will probably end up being under the seat, I would think. And then I've got these 3D printed speaker holders for the rear speakers, which are just in the same series as this. Access 165, Access 130, these are the rear speakers, but they're just coaxial, just to hopefully improve the sound stage a bit in the boot. These are going to be run off the head unit anyway, so I'm not expecting massive improvements. These are going to run off of this little 2-channel amp here that's going to hopefully fit somewhere in the back where the original one was. But yeah, this one is just a 2-channel, so that'll be the left and right speakers, which ones that go to that crossover. Got these adapters here to make them fit in the door. I've got some speaker foam, which is just to hopefully, I'll probably use this on the doors and the rears, but you've just got like a little boom mat to go behind the panel, and then these little foam bits actually go around the cone of the speaker, just to try and give it a more solid area between the door and the speaker. I've also got obviously your usual bits for fitting stereos and stuff. Some more sound deadening here. And this is the mini sub. I still think it's too big to go under the front seat, so I'm going to have to find somewhere in the boot. But yeah, that's that. This one's actually got a little amplifier in it for the sub, so don't have to worry about that. And these are some 3D printed wizardry from, I hope he doesn't mind me saying his name, Caviar, on one of the GT86 forums. And these will just make life a lot easier to fit the tweeters and the other speakers just in the dash just here. First thing I've started doing is using this grommet at the back here just to run the amp wire. So there's 2 of them actually, one for the 2-channel and one for the sub. And I've already run, yes, I forgot, I helped myself out last time by putting all this back. first things first, let me get this out. First one, little easy one. Disconnect, just got the connection down there for the wiring. And then for taking these out, you just got these two screws here. So one on this one up the top. Pop those out. And then hopefully lift out. There we go. Now, on the back of this one, you can see that they've soldered the connection points there, which is easy enough to undo. I'll just desolder them, and then I'll add them onto the back of these, which I don't really want to show you because I had to mess these up to get them in, but perfect circle, as you can see. But yeah, I can just pop those connectors on there or solder them straight on. And then that'll be one part of it done. I'll just need to add some sound deadening. But let's get these desoldered. Plastic trim was on that, so I've taken that off, but I must admit I cheated a little bit. And I connected them with these little connections here, which should just slot on the underside of these. So you've got your, move that out of the way. You've got your positive and your negative. So that just goes on that one. And this one just goes on that one. There we go. And then that connection will just fit back up to the one in the car. But I'm just gonna put some sound deadening on these first. I'll show you that. And then we'll get them in. One job done. I've just installed one sheet of this so far, which has gone behind the rear speakers. Let me show you. So just use my roller. It's sticky backed, so it's quite easy. But I just want to show you the difference. Listen to this. And then listen to how tinny the side that hasn't been done is. It makes sense. So what I've also done, I've got the connectors on the speakers now. They're all fitted on. I've put the sound rings on the rear speakers, and I'm going to work out where they sit, and I'm going to put one of these that just sits behind it on top of that chrome sheet that I've just done. But I'm just going to add another one. Now, these top ones are out. I just wanted to see how to do it, but it kind of fell out in my hand, really. I put a trim tool just around the ridge here, pop that off, and then the smaller tweeter was attached to it, so you just have to press that clip in there. And then this one was actually on a frame here, but usual sort of connector for removal. And then this is what comes out. So you've got your frame there. This had these little bolts in and was sitting on those brackets. And then this one had the tweeter just press fit into there. So pretty much going to do the same sort of thing, really. Obviously replacing with these ones. So I'll just get them out, check them all over, and then make a start. So this is your easier one. It comes with this little foam bit sitting on top there with that over the top. So I won't be using those bits, but I probably will use the foam, and then just slot it in to here. And then that goes in there like that. And then when that all comes together, you just got your two connections hanging down there. And then that sits just on the same bracketry there. And this one is all pre-assembled, so you can probably just see there the 3 different parts. So you've got the ring around the bottom that fits in, this bit that connects, and then this bit that just holds it all together. And it's really quite firm actually. And then that speaker tweeter just has the cables on the end, but currently all my speaker cable is here and it's run into that one. So I just got to work out the right length that I need of that cable to bring it under the seat and into the crossover, and then I can cut that, wire it in, and then solder a bit extra on the end of that. But we're getting somewhere. So I've got the wiring run for the little woofer that goes on the top of the dash there. But what I'm going to need to do is get the seats out, because my plan is that these are going to sit under the seats. I've realised the amp will fit, but I think I'll still put it in the boot just to keep it a bit tidier. Now, what I've realised on these earlier cars, and I'm going to blame Subaru for this, because I've had many Toyotas, and they've only ever done me with a 6 socket for these bolts here, which there are 4 of them. But this, I don't know if you'll pick that up, needs an E10 socket, which is a female Torx. So I'm going to blame Subaru for that, because, oh, blimey, that does not want to come. Might have to step up to a bigger one for that. Half inch with a 3/8 extension, bit of a longer body. That didn't sound good. Oh no, that started it. So you got 4, as you'd expect, the 2 in the front. Loosen those off. And then if you slide the seat forward using the handle, don't know how well you'll see in the back, but there's actually 2 within the rails. So there's one just here, such a horrible sound, and one on the other side. That's them all loose. I did not want to risk that with a electric tool, so I think hand tool was the best choice at that point. Now my Japanese car doesn't have heated seats, so I may not need to unplug anything, but now is a good time to check. So that out. They are horrible bolts. Really horrible bolts. So the back one's done. Take the front ones. Push you back a bit. So this little fabric thing was clipped over the rail so I couldn't see that metal rail there, so I couldn't see. And then when you take it back, you've got these two. You've got the yellow airbag switch there, which just, you pull the white bit and then keep pulling. And that white one just fitted in the connector next to it. So there's the pair of them. But then also, helpfully, they've clipped it onto the seat here with the sort of sideways groovy love that they tend to put in these things. So if I can squeeze that together, might be able to get that out. So that's what we were working with there, the this black clip here, and then the yellow and the white, and then hopefully now you can see you just pinch them together. The seat should come out. I'm going to need both hands for that. That was unpleasant. Oh, it's out. Oh, look at all that room for activities. Seat out, took the mat out as well. And then what I've realised is Toyota made things a little easier than you'd normally expect. If I just pop out these two clips, my hope is we've got some slack on the carpet then, and I can just run the cable, sorry, let me put some light on it, run the cable down here under the carpet and out here under the middle, and then just run it to the crossover there. I mean, in an ideal world, let's see how that pans out, but I mean, it should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Let me just put this on a little mini tripod. I mean, it would help if I didn't have such fat fingers, but you work with what you're given, I suppose. Yeah, it fell over. It fell over, but I was right. So look, now I can just make life difficult for myself by putting all the tools on it. Get that out of the way. And then just pull this all through, and then I know I've got enough and I can just cut it, wire it straight in, and then should be good to go, with at least one side anyway. Of course it's wide, it's round itself up, why wouldn't it? Let's see how far I can get. can sort that out surely when it's through the other side, no? Gotta love wiring. Right. Last bit. I know there's a knot, it's fine, we'll get round that. There we go. So yeah, so I'm going to have my 3 lengths of cable. So one for the tweeter, one for the mid, one for the woofer, and then the input is the one that comes through from the amplifier. So without further ado, let's start. May as well just do this as I go, I guess. Or at least fit one in. Now this just pinches off like that, so you've got easy access to the screw heads, but not so easy access to which ones they are. So the one that I've fitted already in the top here is the mid. So, oh actually it says on there, in, woofer, mid, tweeter. There we go. So if I undo the 2 mids, like that, a little bit more. Then I can leave a little bit extra, so somewhere like that, give it a cut, snip down the middle to pull it apart, like that, get my wire strippers, a little bit more maybe. That's better. And I've done it so the bronzy colour one is positive and the silvery coloured one is negative. So if I just put that underneath that one there, get the screwdriver, might get a flat head on that just to do it up all the way. Tuck that under there. Do this one up. And there we go, that's the start. So now I know I've got this much cable next, so I can run the other mini tweeter. I've just got to wire this to that, and then we'll do the next one. I promise you, I had every intention of showing you that soldered, but I just realised it wasn't recording. So anyway, it's done. I've done the red stripe, which is the positive, to the bronzy one again, and the silver to silver, just to keep things easy. I've got these, which I'm going to just heat shrink over that. And then it will be a case of just fitting this in the top of the dash, running the cable through with the other one, and then connecting it into the coaxial. Why are my words escaping me today? Sorry. Crossover. The coaxial crossover. And then we've got the horrible job of doing the woofers in the door, which are the only thing that should be easy, but they're not going to be. I've got these, which are for fitting the speakers to the door, which are the CT25TY02. I also bought these, which I thought would make life easier, the TY01s and the TY02s, because then I could have just connected all the speakers to the main harness, but then they wouldn't go through the amplifier. So I'm having to do it this way, which is a more annoying way, but should help. And then I have to take the door cards off and run the thicker cables to the speakers in there. So I might even do the other side first and get to the same stage. Let's see how I get on. Now that one is run through 2. It's just sitting in the carpet at the moment. I will push it through the same route. But yeah, it goes through the same hole down there. So if I just pull a little bit more, hopefully, a little bit more, there we go. And then what I had to do, not sure if you can see it, but I just took some of the plastic off these retaining tabs. On the other one, you can see they've got these lugs here, and I've just taken them off. I don't think you have to do it on both, just the one closest to the tweeter. And then hopefully, they should, let's see, be able to just flip this over, pull a bit extra cable through. Down you go. There we go. And then hopefully that should all sit back nice and flush. And then I've just got to run this cable along with its sibling cable down there, under here, back out here, and then that just goes into the one that says T for tweeter, because that's the the woofer mid version that's up in the top of the dash. Woofer goes to the door, which I'm not looking forward to, and in goes to the amplifier. So I'll get that neatened up, back in the same position, and then I'll have to tackle this bugger. I'm not sure if you saw my previous video on this, removing the door cards, but I've got to run the last bit of this cable through the door grommet down here into the door to this speaker here. Now last time I swore I wouldn't do it ever again, but unfortunately here I am. So if you didn't see it before, the way it comes out is you've got a little clip here which you just remove, and then there's a screw underneath. So you take that one out. Yeah, I've got a little bit more wiring in the door probably than most, and this pops under here, and then that comes out because I ran the heated mirror wiring, which you can see in a previous video, and also the auto folding rear mirrors. But yeah, when you remove that cap, there's one fix in there, and there's another screw just down here, which is not the easiest to find. Where are you? Oh, right in front. There we go, just popped in like that. There we go. And then around the side, first clip is here, which you can just put your trim tool behind. Pull that out, and then just work your hand underneath, work it round, pull in the poppers. And then when you get round here, you've got your little light in the bottom of the door. So if you just lean behind it, there's just a little fix in. This lifts up like that. Grab a hold of the handle, and then you can just release the wire from behind, which is just in the light. Then there is the two for your door catch, which just lift off. They come out like that. And then there's just the switches. Nothing ever easy, is it? And then it's just a press release. I'll show you these when I get it off. There's a little screwdriver. Or this. Didn't want to do that. There we go. And the door card comes off. So on the reverse, you've got the wiring one that goes in there for the light. You've got a push connector there for the doors, the windows, and then up here you've got your fixings, which are these, this green one and this white one for the door handle. What we're focusing on today though, I'll open that a bit wider, is this speaker down here. Now, I could have used that connection kit that I was telling you about, and then you just plug into that connection there, and then you haven't got to run all the wiring. But unfortunately, because I'm using my electronical bit there, I have to remove this and run some extra wires. Yay. So to get this out, it's a weird shaped connector, this one. You have to pinch like that and pull, which it doesn't want to come out. There we go. So yeah, you can probably see it there. You pinch from the side like that and then it comes out. Okay, I did cheat just a little bit. I run the cable off camera because you wouldn't have appreciated it. It was absolutely hellish and it would have been about an hour long and it just wasn't fun for me or anyone. So got it through the grommet, up through there, joined it with the rest of the wiring, and now it runs out of here through there. Now you're probably thinking something's missing, and that would be the speaker, which was living like that. So disconnected the connection from here, and I've just taped it up there so it's against the foam so it shouldn't vibrate. But I've got some more of this, so I'm going to put some in the door. Might have to cut it a bit smaller, get it in there. I've got some of the baffle mat as well, so that'll be a good combination. I've got my fixing here, which I'm just going to have to fix to the door like that. It actually gives you the space for the wiring to come out there, but that's not much, well, or go in, I suppose. But yeah, get that on there like that. Then I've got this foam baffle that comes with the speakers, so I'm going to sit that there on that as well, and then get the speaker in there like that, and then I'll show you how I've run the cable to the crossover. But so far so good, it's all looking pretty neat. I'm just going to get this cut, get this run the right length, put some connectors on it, and then fix it up to that. Okay, so I've got this foamy stuff in there, I've got some metal buffer in there as well. I'm just going to fit this next. So I'll put the cable through it so it don't keep getting in the way. And you can see I've just put a little bit of of the baffle around there just to stop it from shaking in the door. So hopefully I'll just get these started. It should start to take shape. So I'll just nip that up. Let's get the next one. Oh, help if you put it in the right one. I don't know if there is a right way or wrong way to this, but it seems like the solo one should go at the bottom. It just seems to make sense. And then the two at the top are the ones that are slightly different based on where you need it to sit. There we go. So let's nip those up. Again, just a Phillips screw head. Nothing technical there. Just nip those three up. I'm just going to show what I've done on the inside, just so it's clear. I mean, I could go crazy and put more sound deadening everywhere, but this is just what's in there. And then I've run the cable down here, so that's tight, that's not going to shake, like that. So out with the old, in with the new. So I guess it's going to sit like that. Look quite smart when it's done, I think. As long as I can get all the screw holes to line up. Like that, I think. So I just need to shorten these. So I did leave quite a lot on because I was figuring it was going to be an absolute mission to get it to come up into the door, but it wasn't too bad. So snip that, separate them out, get the wire strippers. Age old story, this one. Take that one off for the positive, take this one off for the negative. Get your little connectors, make sure they go on the right one. So positive has the big one, then get your crimping tool, give it a little pull, see it doesn't work, go and get another one, try again, LOL, there we go, that feels a bit more positive. Right, let's get that one on. There we go, that's better. Right, let me go and get another connector. Third time was the charm. Got it on there now. Got the little foam buffer on the back of the speaker as well. And hopefully I can get these to fit nicely on these connectors. Oh, they never want to fit. Oh, that felt positive. No, it really doesn't. The big one's always accepting, it's the little one that's the problem. Oh, yes, there we go. Right, so twist the little foam pad round till it lines up with the hole. And now I remembered the screws this time. So I'll start that one off in there. So that should at least just hold it. And that one. Right, alright. We'll stop that moving too much. Then I've just got two more screws. One down here, I think. Where's the hole? There we go, that's that one. So let's nip that one up as well. There we go, and this one, there's that, and then there's the other screw. Not sure which one it goes in though. This one? No, this one? No, must be this one. This one. Aha! Right, now hopefully that should be this side done, but I can't test it yet obviously because I need the amp installed. But what I can do first is connect the last wire. I'll show you where that ran for the door woofer. And that's these two just here, so your negative and your positive, which we saw obviously from the battery. And then I've run them under the carpet flap here, but then I've taken them over the top of this little member down here, and then just along the top of the door there. Because the idea being, and then into the grommet, just down that end there. The idea being you don't want the power cable to get too close to the signal cables or the speaker cables. So what I'm gonna do is run these two along the floor here, and then actually when you get here, there's a hole that goes through and then comes out that side. So then they won't touch at all. And fingers crossed it sounds better for it. And now the only thing I've got left here now is the speaker cable to the amp. I'm not sure what to do next, whether to work on the other side now or whether to do the amp wiring, but I'll figure that. And the only other thing I'm waiting on is some yellow cable, just to keep it consistent, because look, this is only going to get to about here, and I don't like how taut that is, so I've ordered a length of cable the same strand thickness as this, just so I can extend it. I've plugged the cables for the RCAs, for the sub and the amp, into the back of the head unit, and then I've run the cables underneath, you can probably see them here, and I've also attached the signal wire to it as well. So we should have a fairly safe route, because we've got the wiring cables will go down here, we've got the power cables going under the carpet down there, and then I'm going to run the ones back to the amp from those terminals under this and then back through the middle. So hopefully there shouldn't be any interference. in what seemed like whatever, we're pretty much in a good place. We've got a little bit of sound deadening stuff on the door as well, just in a few spots, just to try and reduce some rattles. Here as well, obviously round there. The speakers are in, the wires are run, you can probably see they're all in there. I haven't done the amp ones yet because I'm waiting on a bit of amp cable for the smaller one, but I couldn't have shared this with you. It was horrific. It was not an experience to be enjoyed, but there we go. So we got those ones in there. It's all run under the carpet nice and neatly. This side is at the same stage, but I can't even test them, which is the annoying part, because obviously the amps need to be connected, and without that wire it doesn't go far enough. I've got some of this wire here which my local stereo company gave me, so that's what I'm going to use to go from the crossovers into the back into the amp, and the sub obviously just runs off the input output there, and the power cable, etc, etc. But yeah, almost there. Might call it a day on this one, on this video, and then when the other bits arrive, get that done. These are already in here waiting for the just to be neatened up, really. But other than that, I think we're in a pretty good place. Now, I try and adopt a do a job once without having to restart several times kind of approach. It just makes life a little bit easier. So what I've been finding and what people have said online is obviously these door catch straps in the 86 in the early models don't catch very well. And I must admit, even while I've been working on them, I've noticed it's tried to shut the door on me a few times. Enter Fensport. Now, always been good service, not just because of the Star Mix, but they also sell the later model, which are these ones. Not sure if you can read the code, but if not, I'll read it. 61124CC000. I'll put a link in the description below anyway. But these ones are actually from the GR86, or the BRZ probably, because it's in a, probably the BRZ because it's in a Subaru bag. But you might be able to see it has, it's a bit beefier to start with, but it also has 3 points of location to stop the door from moving. So hopefully, I mean, people have given them good reviews, that should be a good upgrade just to keep things nice and easy, and your legs not being crushed. I'll just get the camera set up in the doorway so you can see this quick mod. Now this is quite an easy install. Not many tools needed for this. Firstly, just pull this off, which your car may not have. It was just something I added. Then you've got a 10mm bolt just here behind that. You watch the door try and shut on me when I take this off. Yeah, it already has. I've just using my knee to prop it. And then you just need 10mm. I've got a ratchet spanner. I don't know if that's showing off, but you can probably get a small socket without an extension on there as well. But it's quite simple. You just take those two little nuts off as well. And then I've already done the other side and then realised it wasn't recording. So what's easiest to do, fold this end in and then you can just feed it back through the door and that one's out. So do the same thing, fold this one in and then try and lead it into the door like that. Line up your little holes and then just, I'm going to finger tight these just to get them started so it doesn't move. and then open this one up. Oh, that's the one. We get there in the end. So just do this one up. Get the old get these turning the right way, I think. Ah, there we go, nice and tight. And then these can just go back over the top. Yeah, perfect. And then cover that mess up again, and we should be good. And I think that's it for this episode, but thank you for sticking with me. It looks like all the speakers are done. Quickly did the door catches as well, just as another quality of life improvement. All the wires are there now. I just need to get the amp and the sub installed, but I'm waiting on some wiring to do that, as per usual. Just one simple yellow 2 meter length of cable to extend the amp, the wire to the boot. But it's sometimes the easy things that let you down, but hey, no need to dwell on that. But if I've still got your attention now, I appreciate that. If you lost your way a few moments ago, hours ago, appreciate that too. But if you wouldn't mind subscribing, questioning me, anything you want to do, fire me one below. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully get this all wrapped up in the next episode. But yeah, cheers. See you later.